What is up, duelists? Arts and Crafts here with some more high-rated GOAT format Yu-Gi-Oh action. Today's feature match, we've got Nilo 89 versus Stale Bread. As always, both players rated in the top 200 spots on the Dueling Book GOAT format ranked ladder. Let's hop right into it. Nilo is going to start us off with a Delinquent Duo, one of the best cards in the format. Gonna potentially go up a card super early and get a lot of intel as to what Stale Bread might be playing. Hits a Fusilier Dragon, the dual mode beast. Interesting. Not a card you see every day. Pretty common in Reasoning Gate Turbo sort of strategies. So in more of like a combo list. Also sometimes seen in more like Go Control lists because it has an interesting combo with Metamorphosis, as it is a level 7 monster even when you normal summon it. And they're going to discard Toon Table of Contents as well, so pretty clear that this is a Reasoning Gate sort of deck. Both cards you commonly see in those. So now you can be pretty sure what you're up against here. We're going to get set a monster, set a back row pass, and Stale Bread. You know, combo decks don't like to lose cards, right? They tend to prefer having a critical mass of stuff because the more cards they have, the more likely that they are to have, you know, the cards they need for their combo, essentially. So stuff like Duo, very, very good against Reasoning Gate. Just putting them off their combo pieces as best as possible, trying to stall out the game while you can apply some pressure. Celebred, though, does have Nobleman of Crossout to deal with the set monster. It is a Gravekeeper Spy, so Nilo going to be unable to use those so far this game. Oh, and then we've got Normal Summon Toon Goblin Attack Force. So is this a Reasoning Gate deck, or is this like some interesting Toon strategy? Huh. I got baited by the first couple of discards. Potentially. Toon Goblin Attack Force is going to come down. Now, in Magic the Gathering lingo, Toon monsters do have summoning sickness. They can't attack the turn that they're summoned, but it is quite a big wall here. So we're just going to set a back row pass. Interesting. Okay. So Nilo here has this 2300 wall to deal with, but it's just going to get Snatch Stealed. So one of the bad things about Toon monsters with that summoning sickness is, you know, your opponent doesn't really care about them if they have stuff like Snatch Steal. So you were unable to get any value out of your Goblin Attack Force yet before it got snatched. And then we're going to get in for 2300, start beating away, set a monster pass. So advantage here, Nilo stealing away this monster, having resolved the duo. The Goblin Attack Force should change to defense position, yeah. Lock itself there for a little bit. Ooh, Celebred's going to go normal summon Berserk Gorilla. So is this like a Beast Down list or something? This is interesting. All right. Berserk Gorilla, normal summon, kill the Goblin Attack Force, pass. Nilo draws for turn. We got flip summon to Koichi, so we got what looks like a pretty standard Chaos Turbo list, most likely, versus potentially some Beast Down or maybe some Earth Aggro or something. Really unique matchup here. Dekoichi's going to draw a card. They're going to set a back row pass. So Bread still has this Berserk Gorilla on the field. Just going to go and attack over that Dekoichi. Must attack every turn, of course, as the effect says. But we've got Ring of Destruction to protect the Dekoichi. Both players will take 2,000. And still Bread's offense will be stymied once again. They do have main phase 2 Breaker, the Magical Warrior, which is going to pop that back row, but it's MST. We're going to chain it. Celebred, do you have a chain yourself? No, it's Mirror Force. All right, so Breaker, not getting too much value here. And it's just going to be sitting around as 1600 vanilla now. Kind of a sitting duck. And Nilo didn't really have to do too much so far this game. Just duo, snatch steal, ring some stuff, chain MST to stuff. And suddenly you're just up a bunch of cards. So Turbo doing turbo things. No way to deal with this breaker yet, though, so we're going to turn the Dekoichi to defense position and then set another monster pass and try and wall out this breaker. Makes sense when you're playing against some sort of aggro deck here, most likely. Stale Bread, going to set a monster and then kill the Dekoichi. Totally fine, just cleaning up some of the leftover pieces. Nilo is going to be able to get to their main phase 1 with this set monster unscathed. So you could draw, if it's a Faith, there is some good stuff to grab here. Probably not a Spy, but could be another Dekoichi maybe. And flip summon, okay, it is another Dekoichi, so now we'll be able to draw a little bit further into their deck. We got Upstart to dig even further. And Dekoichi is going to go attack the set monster, which was another Fusilier Dragon. Interesting. So we're on multiple copies of Fusilier Dragon here. We're on Tune for Goblin Attack Force angle, and we're on Berserk Gorilla. What an interesting deck. And Nilo's going to set a back row pass. Sailbread here got regular Goblin Attack Force. Okay. Breaker can beat over the Koichi, and then Goblin Attack Force can get in for 23. That's a lot of damage. Gonna pass there with a 2-turn clock here. Nilo, you gotta muster up some sort of defense. Just gonna set a back row pass, though. Hoping it's Mirror Force or something, most likely, if you're Nilo. Subright gonna get in for 16 again. Yeah, wow, okay. So Nilo, no answer to this onslaught of monsters so far. Goblin Attack Force is about to be able to turn back into attack position and get another swing in. Now you need to have an answer to this soon. Tribe Infecting Virus is a good one. Go to normal summon Tribe. Tribe discard a dead Trap Dust Shoot to clear out the Breaker, and then Tribe can just attack over the Goblin Attack Force. Pass. So you have dealt with the board. Subred only has 3 cards at their disposal after this draw for turn. But you're sitting here at 900 life points. Ring is likely still in deck for Stalebread. There are a lot of ways that they could punch in for this last 900. You got to be careful here if you're Nilo. Zombira the Dark is definitely a way to continue to get in for some damage. Can beat over the Tribe. And that is successful, putting Nilo all the way down to 400. You're on your last legs here. But Zombira cannot deal the last remaining damage on their own. Nilo would have to play an attack position monster that it could beat over. Upstart to dig a little bit further. Call of the Haunted. Interesting. Not a card you always see in these sorts of decks. Probably going to be grabbing that Tribe Infecting Virus. Use its effect. Discard a Chaos Sorcerer, which no lights in grave here for Nilo, so must have been pretty dead in hand for a while. Makes you wonder if there's other Chaos monsters in hand as well, considering we haven't seen too many plays from Nilo so far this game. But either way, Tribe Effect is going to clear out the Zombira. And opting not to attack. Surely you would get in for 1600 there, but it is what it is. Oh, just gonna get Delbra just gonna give it to him anyway. Nice move. A homie attack, I guess. Subride's got another Berserk Gorilla though, and this would be game if it can beat over the Tribe. Let's see. Do you have anything, Nilo? No. No back row to deal with it. And that's game 1. Stalebread on some sort of beatdown deck. I'll call it Beast Down, I guess, maybe. Takes it over Nilo 89. Game 2, Nilo will most likely be going first here on this kind of interesting Chaos Turbo strategy. We did see Call of the Haunted, which you don't always see in these sorts of decks, so a little bit of a spicy list. I'm just going to go normal summon Sangan, get some sort of wall. It's kind of hard for aggro decks. They can beat over it, then you'll be able to search something up, and something like a Tsukiyomi can definitely stonewall a lot of beast down monsters. So kind of an annoying threat for Stalebread to deal with. Let's see how they choose to navigate this. We're just going to go normal summon Zombira and beat over it. Totally fine. Get in for 1100. Start the aggression rolling. And Tsukiyomi is going to be grabbed, as expected. And Stalebread has no back row, so, you kind of had to be prepared for this. You're just going to get +1 at least by the Tsukiyomi. Delinquent Duo is coming down as well. Duo did land game 1 and Stalebread was still able to clear it out, so not the end of the world, but really good start here for Nilo. Duo hits a Berserk Gorilla, they discard another Fusilier Dragon, and then Tsukiyomi, as expected, is going to clear out the Zombira. Another back row out of here for Nilo, pass. Stalebread, you're down a bunch of cards now, but can't count them out, right? Capable of dealing so much damage very quickly. Going to go normal summon Goblin Attack Force. Just tons of attack power in this deck, really. Every monster, Fusilier, assuming you flip it face up. Every monster so far we've seen starts at least with at least 2,000 attack points. Goblin Attack Force. Ooh, gonna get hit by Torrential Tribute, though, so a little bit of defense there from Nilo, stymieing Stalebread for this turn at least. Nilo here, just gonna set a monster pass. You know, you're up against a beatdown deck. You don't need to get too aggressive too quickly. Celebred has another breaker. Breaker's going to, ooh, a little bit of combo here. Breaker on the Call of the Haunted. You can chain the Call of the Haunted to revive Sangan, and then when the breaker effect resolves, popping the Call of the Haunted, you get another search off of the Sangan. So really nice play here out of Nilo. This breaker, you know, things have been going well overall for Sailbread, but Breaker himself has not been an all-star for sure, although it did beat in for a lot of damage last game. Let's see what Nilo chooses to search off of this Sangan. Going to go grab a Gravekeeper Spy. Definitely good at walling out a lot of the monsters we've seen so far, including Breaker and Berserk Gorilla. But we know stuff like Goblin Attack Force and Zumbira are in the deck, probably specifically mostly to deal with the Gravekeeper Spy. Breaker's going to attack the set monster. It is a Magician of Faith. Just the duo to grab here for Nilo. So Stelbred's going to be aware of that and hopefully can play around it. Not going to be able to, though, so nice little +1 here for Nilo. First, we're going to get Heavy Storm to pop the back row. And yeah, Stelbred saying, okay, you just had everything to deal with my cards. I'm just going to concede. That's totally fair. And we'll go to game 3. Stelbred on this beatdown deck is going to be able to go first. Try to launch some offense relatively quickly. We're going to get normal summon Berserk Gorilla, set a back row pass. Pretty good start, get a monster on board. Nilo opens the Thunder Dragon. Haven't seen that so far this match. Then we got MST to clear the back row. So signaling probably has some sort of way to do this with this Berserk Gorilla. Delinquent Duo for the 3rd game in a row. Man, it really hurts if you're Stelbred. This is the 4th time you got hit by Duo. This time it's Snags or Premature Burial, and once again, a Fusilier Dragon hits the grave. Haven't seen it really used for any sort of actual offense so far this game. So Stelbred's deck just getting kind of torn apart every game so far. And then Snatch Shield to come through again. Sealing this Berserk Gorilla, getting it for 2,000. What a just blistering turn 1 here from Nilo. Answering everything Stelbred had, applying some pressure, and now they're only down to 3 cards in hand to deal with, their opponent. Your own Berserk Gorilla. Goblin Attack Force, though, is a way to beat over that. Going to be able to get in for a little bit of damage and clear out that threat. Set a couple back row pass. Nilo, decently easy threat to deal with here. Just going to set some back row pass, though. No monsters here. So, Stelbred, you got to hope that you can, at some point, get another attack off with this Goblin Attack Force. Get maximum value from your cards. Otherwise, you're just going to get slowly grinded out here by Chaos Turbo. It's going to get draw, set, pass from Stelbred. Next turn, he'll be able to use that Goblin Attack Force. Call of the Hunted here. Seen all 3 games. We're going to get Call of the Hunted on Thunder Dragon, so that Nilo has a beater to get over this Goblin Attack Force. See if Stelbred has an answer to this. We've got Mirror Force to keep it alive. I like the play. Answers your opponent's threat. Allows you to get back to your turn with Goblin Attack Force still alive. And then now I was going to set a monster pass, so something for the Goblin Attack Force to beat over, most likely. Top deck Pot of Greed from Stelbred is really nice, answering some of the card advantage that Nilo was able to accumulate so far with some of their better draws. So yeah, up to 2 cards in hand here for Stelbred. Ooh, we've got Normal Summon Mystic Swordsman level 2. Which is a great way to deal with this set monster, but we do have Torrential Tribute coming through, which is just going to clear out the board. 2 for 2 trade. It does get rid of a Spy, which you're not too unhappy about if you're Stelbred. But if you're Nilo, of course, that Spy was about to hit the grave, so making this play totally makes sense. But it's more of just a neutral interaction than really getting too much advantage here. Stelbred, though, having used their normal summon, is going to be forced to pass here. Nilo's going to, normal summon Zumbira the Dark just to wall some stuff out. Let's see if Stelbred has any way to deal with this. Reinforcement of the army is a good way. Going to go reinforcement for Goblin Attack Force. Beat over the Zumbira. But Sakuretsu Armor, great card in the matchup. And the Zumbira will live to see another day. Another threat answered. But Nilo is running a little bit low on cards. So Stelbred can keep up the pressure. You might run your opponent out of answers. Normal summon Sangan here to apply some pressure from Nilo's end. Start getting for 1,000 a turn. Annoying monster to deal with, of course, just like we saw last game. Subred's going to go normal summon Zombira themselves, and that will potentially beat over the Sangan. Yes, so interesting. Choosing to beat over the Sangan here, which will power down the Zombira, making it able to just get beaten over by your opponent's Zombira. But if you just have an answer like the Saku set or something, I think it's totally fine. You do have to be worried about whatever the Sangan's going to grab. Ooh, Skill Drain. Ah, so that's what this deck. This was a Skill Drain aggro deck. Very neat. Yeah, because, I mean, it works with Fusilier Dragon, it works with Berserkerilla, works with Goblin Attack Force, works with Zombira. So finally, in Game 3, we get to see exactly what Stalebread was kind of cooking up here. And the Skill Drain might be able to get some usage here. Sangan's going to hit the grave. We'll be able to use its effect to just grab a Sinister Serpent. Interesting. I guess the idea Tsukiyomi doesn't really do anything, right? Because Skill Drain will just negate the effect. So you're just going to grab a more defensive option here in the Sinister Serpent and try and wall out this Zombira that can now attack directly thanks to Skill Drain. Cool. So Stalebread able to kind of figure out or find the combo that the deck is seemingly built around. Let's see if that's going to be enough here, if Nilo was prepared for this, and if they can answer these threats. I was just going to set a monster, set a back row pass. Decent chance that that's the Sinister Serpent that just got grabbed, but not guaranteed, so you got to be a little bit on your toes here if you're Stalebread. Top deck Rhoda for Stalebread. Grabbing Goblin Attack Force, which under Skill Drain is just a 2300 beater. It's quite good. And that can just beat over the Zombira, not having to worry about any trades there. Start battle phase, Threatening Roar, though. Very interesting card. Generally seen that come in against combo decks, but getting some good value here. And now Nilo can at least attempt to trade off their Zombira on their own turn before it's inevitably beaten down by this Goblin Attack Force. Separate says, okay, Nilo, you know what's coming. Top deck Pot of Greed is crazy, though. I'm going to draw up 2 more cards. Set a back row, set a monster pass. Not opting to go for the trade of Zombiras, so perhaps trying to bait Stalebread into attacking over the Goblin Attack Force. Mirror Force is definitely still in deck, so something you got to be aware of if you're Stalebread. This first set monster didn't flip up, so you got to think that's probably the Serpent, right? Because the only other fake set in the deck is usually Sangan, and that's gone. And so then you also have the intel, if you're Stalebread, that this other set monster is probably something real. We're going to go straight to battle phase here for Stalebread, beat over the Zombira, but we got Raigeki Break discarding the second Thunder Dragon, or I guess that's the first Thunder Dragon that we've seen discarded. So the one that went in grave, that was then revived by call, but killed. So Nilo was just holding double TD in hand that we knew about. Raigeki Break will deal with the Goblin Attack Force. Zombira will kill the unknown set monster, and that is Gravekeeper's Spy. Might be able to summon another copy of itself out of the deck if they have one. Or I guess the skill drain just negate all flip effects. Because it does have to be face up to use its effect, so maybe that's what's happening there. Don't always see skill drain, so I don't know all of the interactions here, but seems like a pretty strong card, especially when you're able to build your deck around it with all sorts of monsters like this. Little bit of advantage gained here for Stalebread, though. Getting a lot of value out of this Zombira skill drain combo. So Nilo, you're on the back foot. You've let this Zombira live for quite some time. You could have just traded it off at any point, but I guess playing around potential Sakuretsu armors or something. You know, Stalebread has a pretty full back row here, so it could be a lot of things. Nilo's just going to set a back row pass. Keep these Zombiras on board. Stalebread draws Zombira number 2. All right, so that's one way to deal with Zombira, right? First Zombira will go and kill that Serpent. Second one will trade with the opposing Zombira. And now if you're Nilo, you don't have too many cards left. You got a dead Thunder Dragon in hand, and you're staring down an effectless Zombira the Dark, just a 2100 vanilla, threatening to kill you in 4 turns, unaided. You do have the Sinister Serpent, which is nice to continue to wall this out. So Stalebread will need to find an answer to that if they want to continue to apply the pressure. Upstart out here, first play of the turn for Nilo, just to dig a little bit deeper. Ooh, and they found a Chaos Monster. I'm going to slam down Chaos Sorcerer, which is, the banish effect is negated by Skill Drain, but it is just a 2300 beater that can get over this Umbira. Just going to pass, though. So, still playing around potential Sakus. We know Mirror Force is gone, but Saku is definitely something that these decks can play. Especially, makes sense when you're playing a skill drain deck, because a lot of the time the only way for your opponent to deal with your monsters is by attacking with them. Like you can see here with this Chaos Sorcerer, which I'm sure would love to banish monsters, but is not able to currently. So we're just going to use Chaos Sorcerer as a 2300 wall here. But we've got Fusilier Dragon, the dual mode beast, finally getting some value here. Able to summon it, 2800 attack points. Getting the combo with Skill Drain here, and that's going to be able to beat over the Chaos Sorcerer. Get in for 500. Zumbira will kill the Serpent. And now you're staring down a lot of damage here if you're Nilo. Skill Drain being used to great effect here from Stelbred. Nilo going to draw for turn, grab that Serpent back. Going to go Heavy Storm to try and clear out the whole back row. Deal with that Skill Drain. Oh, but we have Deck Devastation Virus. Wow. What an interesting deck here. We've got Skill Drain aggro with Deck Devastation Virus. I guess makes sense. You're playing tons of cards that facilitate this. It only works with Darks, but both of the ones you have here will work just fine. Choosing the Zumbira. Oh, so this is interesting. With Skill Drain gone, is Fusilier still a 2800? Hopefully one of the players will know. I guess we'll see. And by Stelbred choosing to... Yeah, I mean, even if Fusilier becomes a 1400 with Skill Drain gone, you still might want to just keep it because it's able to attack directly. So I can see this play being made regardless of Fusilier Dragon's stats after resolution. But Deck Devastation Virus is going to resolve here, most likely, tributing that Zumbira. Get to look at the opponent's hand. Well, we know it's Serpent and Thunder Dragon. So the Sinister is going to hit the grave. Yeah, 1500 or less attack. And then the Heavy Storm is going to pop a Magic Cylinder and double Skill Drain. So a lot of value from that Heavy Storm. Jargreed's going to resolve as well to draw Nilo a little bit further in. We should show the hand, though. We know it's Mirror Force. So Stelbred should know about that. Unless, I mean, it wasn't clear to me if you chained Jar. Oh, I guess you look at your opponent's hand anyway, so Stelbred should know about this Mirror Force, essentially, is what I'm saying. Stelbred, though, is going to draw for turn. Just going to go get in for, presumably, 2800. They're seeing that's 2800. But we're just going to get got by the Mirror Force, which Stelbred should have known about because of Deck Devastation Virus. So I guess we can just play with hand revealed, basically, for the most part. Set back row here for Stelbred. Nilo draws for turn. It is Chaos Sorcerer, which is live and does not get killed by Dex Devastation Virus. So normally you would think resolving this is pretty good against Turbo. A lot of their monsters like Spies, Sangans, all this stuff would get got by Deck Devastation Virus, but Nilo just hasn't really had anything to deal with. And, Stelbred not playing around Heavy Storm here could have been kind of an issue. They were quite exposed with the 4 back row. Kind of the linchpin of their plan being the Skill Drain getting answered, and your backup Skill Drain getting answered in one fell swoop as well. So there's definitely merit to maybe holding the second one in hand, just so you don't, get your entire strategy torn apart by a Heavy Storm. We're going to get that Chaos Sorcerer slammed down, though. Going to get in for some damage, 2300. So Stelbred, you're now on a couple turn clock. We'll get that Serpent set. Stelbred's going to draw for turn. We got Call of the Haunted on presumably Fusilier Dragon. That's just a nice 2800 beater here. That can get over the Sork, deal 500. And Stelbred, interestingly, has not been able to deal too much damage this game. Just really accumulated lots of advantage over time with Skill Drain powering up all of their monsters, but it was just all wiped away in one go thanks to that Heavy Storm. It could maybe Celebrate could maybe be in a solid position if this Deck Devastation virus is able to get some value, but so far all it's done is kill a Sinister Serpent. So not a lot of value there. Either way, though, Fusilier Dragon is going to stick around. Nilo draws for turn. Just top deck BLS. Oh, and you have the Thunder Dragon in hand to turn it on, so kind of a feels bad moment here for Stalebred. Double top deck of Chaos Monsters. Ugh. So many cards left in deck, and it had to be probably the two best cards in the deck against what Stalebred is rocking right now. But, you know, it would have been nice if you still had skill drains around, or even the magic cylinder would have been nice, although you probably don't hold that. But yeah, just unfortunate they're unable to get any value out of this Deck Devastation virus at all in what was otherwise a pretty close game. Yeah, we're going to get discard Thunder Dragon to get the Light Engrave to summon out the BLS. BLS banishes the Fusilier Dragon. And now you got to deal with this. I can hide hand now. Got to deal with this BLS. Just kind of set a monster pass, which is just going to get banished by the BLS most likely. As it does, it's a Breaker the Magical Warrior. See him for the third game in a row, but not much he could really do here. Set another monster here from Nilo, and now Stalebred, your back is up against the wall. Not too much in your deck. I don't think that can really do this. You're hoping for like a Snatch Steal, probably. Gonna draw for a turn. Nobleman of Crossout on the non-Serpent. It is Magician of Faith, so now I'm going to be unable to use that the rest of the game. And you're hoping that we don't see a monster here from Nilo, so that you can live at least one more turn, see one more card. Yeah, just going to get in for 3,000 here for Nilo. So Stalebred gets one more draw. Here's a back row set. End phase MST to clear out the back row. Top deck Snatch Steal goes crazy. You hit the bluff up. I feel like if you're Nilo, you probably just use the upstart, because what's 1,000 damage, right? Minor things, I guess. Stalebred draws for turn. Graceful Charity. I called Haunted should stay on the field, right? Because the Fusilier was banished, not destroyed. These things generally aren't going to matter. Graceful is a pretty good top deck there to let you dig into some more stuff. Discard Skill Drain and Duo. Set a monster pass. We're living one more turn. It's going to banish it. It's a Berserk Gorilla. Oh, and then we're going to go main phase 1 double tribute for Dark Magician of Chaos for the win. Holy. Okay, so that makes sense. I mean, we saw Call of the Haunted pretty much every game this match. So it makes you think, you know, if you're running Turbo and you're running Call of the Haunted, you're probably running DMOC. But finding it for game in the most dramatic fashion, BLS able to banish the set monster, and then, you know, when BLS banishes something, he cannot attack that turn. Sinister was the other monster on the field, but not enough life to finish off the game. So we have just hard summon tribute for Dark Magician of Chaos for game. What a closing to this match, and what was a really back and forth duel. Stalebred seemed like in game 3 they were sitting pretty, was able to, you know, create a ton of advantage utilizing skill drain combos with all their monsters, but a pretty much whiffed Deck Devastation virus and getting blown up by Heavy Storm allowed Nilo back into it a couple Chaos top decks later, and it was just game over, and DMOC is here to seal the deal. So really cool game here. Fun to see some spice out of Stalebred, even if they weren't able to take home the match, but did see some cool plays. I definitely enjoyed this match. Hope you guys did as well, and I will catch you all next time.